the news hit like a gut punch for Raider Nation. Just when it felt like things couldn't possibly get worse, the Las Vegas Raiders were slammed with another brutal setback that could define the rest of their season. It wasn't just a routine injury update or another press conference full of excuses. This was the kind of headline that changes everything, the kind that makes fans question whether this team can catch a single break. The Raiders' most promising young star, tight end Brock Bowers, is officially out for Sunday's game against the Titans. What makes it even harder to swallow is that this isn't a one-week precaution. It's the latest chapter in a growing concern that the Raiders' coaching staff may have mishandled the situation from the start. Bowers has been nursing a PCL injury for weeks. He's missed 6 straight practices and sat out last week's game, and now, as the Raiders head into what could be the most crucial game of their season, he's sidelined again. It's not just a personnel problem, it's an identity crisis. This kid wasn't just a weapon. He was the spark, the heartbeat, the one player who consistently gave this offense life when everything else was sputtering. He was Geno Smith's safety valve, the one guy he could trust when plays broke down, when protection collapsed, when everything seemed lost. Losing him now, with the team already drowning offensively, is a devastating blow. But the real frustration lies deeper. This isn't just bad luck, and it feels like bad judgment. The Raiders knew Bowers was dealing with a significant knee injury, and they still put him out there earlier in the season, hoping to squeeze production out of him while his knee wasn't right. In a sport as violent and unforgiving as football, that kind of gamble can ruin a player's career. And now, as Bowers sits for a second straight week without any clear timetable for return, the questions are impossible to ignore. Did the medical staff and coaches push him too far? Did they sacrifice long-term health for short-term gain? Fans are starting to demand answers, and rightfully so. Because if this injury lingers, if the Raiders lose Bowers for an extended stretch, this season could completely unravel. And as if that wasn't enough, there's the other dark cloud hanging over this team, Geno Smith. It's no secret anymore. This is his last chance. Sunday's game against the Titans isn't just another week on the schedule. It's a career crossroads. Geno's 9 interceptions through 5 games have already led the league, and his performances have grown more erratic by the week. Every drive feels like a coin flip between brilliance and disaster. And now he's playing for his job, maybe even his NFL future. The cruel irony? There's no one behind him capable of taking over. The Raiders are stuck. Kenny Pickett is the backup, but let's be honest, if he were capable of leading a team, the Steelers never would have let him walk. He's shown flashes of potential, but nothing close to the consistency required to turn around a struggling franchise. That means Geno has to figure it out, fast. Because the Raiders don't have a plan B, they don't have a savior waiting on the sidelines. If Geno collapses again, this season goes with him, and that's what makes this matchup against Tennessee so critical. The Titans are by every measure one of the worst teams in football right now. They're sloppy, inconsistent, and rebuilding from the ground up. They just got their first win of the year against a struggling Cardinals team, and even that took a minor miracle. But here's the reality. This is exactly the kind of game a team like the Raiders should win if they're serious about saving their season. If they can't beat the Titans at home, in front of their own fans, with everything on the line, then what's left to fight for? The Titans aren't without weapons. Calvin Ridley can still make plays, Tyler Lockett brings veteran savvy, and their offensive line has some strong anchors in Peter Skoronski and Lloyd Cushenberry. But they're not elite. Their defense has holes, their secondary is vulnerable, and their rookie quarterback is still finding his rhythm. On paper, the Raiders should dominate. But that's the problem. On paper doesn't mean anything when your offense can't score. Last week's performance was the breaking point for many fans. 6 points against the Colts. 6. That's not just bad, and it's embarrassing. You can't win in the NFL with that kind of offensive output unless you're playing in a snowstorm or praying for defensive touchdowns. The Colts' defense isn't elite. They're middle of the pack at best, yet the Raiders' offense looked lifeless, confused, and flat. Geno's decision-making was shaky, the play calling was uninspired, and even when opportunities were there, they slipped through their fingers. This week, Geno doesn't just need to be decent, he needs to be great. He needs the kind of performance that silences critics and restores faith. No more empty promises about fixing the mistakes. No more talking about film sessions and learning from losses. It's do or die. He has to move the ball, take shots downfield, protect the football, and put points on the board. Real points, not field goals. 24, maybe more. The Raiders can't rely on their defense to carry them again. Geno has to lead, not just manage. If he can't, this might be the last time he walks out as the starter for Las Vegas. But there's another piece of this story that can't be ignored. Pete Carroll. The legendary coach, the motivator, the builder of cultures, is suddenly under scrutiny for something that's followed him his entire career: how he handles his quarterbacks. There's a pattern here, and it's impossible not to see it. Carroll's style has always been rooted in positivity. He believes in his players, he uplifts them, he protects them from the noise. It worked for a while in Seattle. It built Russell Wilson into a superstar, until it didn't. Eventually, the same unshakable optimism that once fueled their success became a problem. Wilson stopped taking accountability. The locker room fractured, and the dynasty that once looked unstoppable came crashing down. And now, history seems to be repeating itself. Carroll took another chance on a journeyman quarterback in Geno Smith, and for a while, it looked like another redemption story. Geno revived his career, proved doubters wrong, and earned the big bucks contract. But with success came ego. The same ego Carroll once inflated in Wilson is now creeping back with Geno. And once again, Carroll refuses to hold his quarterback accountable. Listen to his post-game pressers, and you'll hear it. No matter how bad Geno plays, Carroll finds a way to soften the blow. He'll blame the offensive line, the play calling, the receivers, even the weather, anything but the quarterback. He'll say Geno was solid even after 3 interceptions. He'll say we're not there yet when asked about benching him, as if the team hasn't already watched enough to know the problem. That kind of unwavering loyalty might sound noble, but in a results-driven league, it's dangerous. The truth is, this isn't just about protecting a player's confidence, it's about accountability. And right now, the Raiders don't have any. Geno keeps making the same mistakes, and no one's demanding he stop. Pete Carroll's old-school approach to positivity may have worked once, but in this environment, it feels outdated. A team that's spiraling needs honesty, not blind faith. And unless that changes soon, the Raiders risk losing more than just games. They risk losing the locker room. So here we are, Raiders Nation, staring down a season-defining moment. No Brock Bowers, a quarterback on his last chance, a head coach caught between loyalty and leadership. Sunday's game against the Titans isn't just about standings, it's about pride, direction, and whether this team still believes in itself. Because if they lose this one, there won't be any more excuses left. What do you think, Raider fans? Is this the end of the line for Geno Smith, or does he have one last comeback left in him? Did the coaching staff mishandle Brock Bowers' injury, or was it just bad luck? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns, inside stories, and honest analysis on the Raiders, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because no matter how dark it gets, this is still Raider Nation.